Please ignore the distractions. That's our main topic for this month's video. I'm Jared Null, and I'd like to thank you for joining me. Today we'll touch on some recent events and terms that could affect you as an individual investor. The steady flow of headlines pouring out of the Trump administration has been unsettling for most Americans, regardless of where they sit on the political spectrum. We know stock markets don't like uncertainty. What is happening in Washington is generating an enormous amount of political uncertainty. Yes, the word impeachment has even been tossed about in some circles. It was responsible for a one-day sell-off last month that cost the Dow 373 points, according to the St. Louis Federal Reserve. Blame this knee-jerk reaction on allegations that President Trump had asked then FBI Director James Comey to end an investigation of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. There hadn't been much downside action in the major indexes recently, so talk of impeachment jarred the short-term crowd. But political as well as international uncertainty has yet to generate economic uncertainty, and hence this is important. We've seen little downside in stocks. Beyond the brief synopsis I've just provided, I'll stay out of the political weeds and let you form your own opinions, because stepping briefly into the political arena feels like I've stepped into a minefield, but I felt it was important to provide some context in relation to the markets. Our job is to be your financial advisor and financial confidant. That is where we focus our energy. We'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have about your accounts, your financial plan, and how we believe various events of the day may impact your investments. But let's stick to your financial roadmap. Is this too optimistic? A couple of months ago, the House failed to pass a so-called repeal and replace for Obamacare. It had little impact on stocks, and like it or not, the House finally passed a health care bill this last month, and it did little to boost shares. You see, the crown jewel for investors, however, has always been a cut in the corporate tax rate. And well, what seemed like a certainty immediately following the election has become murky. In fact, a late May article in the Wall Street Journal entitled "GOP's Proposed Tax Changes Are No Match for the Status Quo. Republican Lawmakers' Boldest Ideas for Change Are on Political Life Support." This summed up the dilemma the party is facing. We were told by the pundits that if Trump didn't cut taxes, if he changed government spending, or if he caused political gridlock, stocks would get pounded. Well, tax cuts aren't ruled out, but bold economic changes from Washington are at risk. Yet stocks are near all-time highs. The Dow Jones is up 6.3% for the year, and the S&P is up 7.7%. Why? I think we are beginning to see is the passing of the baton, an investor-friendly agenda in the post-election climate that fueled market gains has been replaced by stronger economic fundamentals. S&P 500 profits in Q1 came in at the fastest pace since the third quarter of 2011, according to Thomson Reuters, and forecasts for the year have been relatively upbeat. Simply put, the fundamentals trump the negative headlines, whether those headlines originate here in the U.S. or overseas. The longer-term focus of the markets has always been economic fundamentals. I believe that focus has not changed. Unless and until the economy is significantly impacted by unexpected and alarming events that may create short-term volatility, things should remain level. Many of the fire alarm headlines rarely create long-lasting impact. But let's talk about something that will have a lasting impact on your success: financial literacy. I recently came across a definition of financial literacy in Wikipedia that I believe sums up the term well. I'll paraphrase. It refers to the set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all of their financial resources. How do you manage your money? How does one come up with financial goals and a plan to reach those financial goals? How do we make effective decisions with our financial resources? These are easy questions that don't have easy answers. You see, the financial arena is much more complex than it was just 50 years ago. There's a downside to the abundance of choices that we have today, and it adds a layer of complexity and creates confusion. Many don't know where to begin. Many fall into paralysis by analysis. One of our goals is to educate savers and retirees. And I know we cover various topics in our meetings, but I've learned that some folks feel uncomfortable asking questions they perceive as too simple. Don't we all? Let me say this, there isn't a bad question. If you want, I want you to be comfortable with what we recommend. And while the financial plans we advocate encompass some basic principles, we do not take a cookie cutter approach. Instead, we tailor our investment advice to your unique situation. Of course, as your advisors, we know many of you need more than just investment advice. Your needs may bend toward estate planning, retirement income planning, insurance, charitable giving, college savings, and other areas. In fact, there are many short videos and tutorials already available to you on our website that focus and educate on these topics. So the bottom line, every situation is unique, but there are fundamental financial principles that guide our recommendations. So let's talk if you have questions. We're only an email or a phone call away, assisting you in pursuit of your financial goals, and shedding light on financial complexities provides our team with an enormous amount of satisfaction. Financial literacy is just one of the avenues that will help place you on the road to reaching your goals and dreams as we ignore the distractions. That's it for this month's Educational Economic Update. I'd ask you to visit our website for a list of upcoming client and educational events. Please remember that nothing we talk about here is a recommendation. If you would like to discuss your personal financial situation, please give us a call toll-free at 866-748-7721. We'd be happy to talk to you. Now for a required disclosure. While we believe the information in this report is reliable, we cannot guarantee its accuracy. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or as a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. Please consult your financial professional before making any investment decision. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect against loss in periods of declining markets. The indices mentioned are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. Past performance does not guarantee future results.